Drifter, written by Jim Mintz.
The walk through the desert was grueling. The entity had forgotten, or perhaps it had never truly dealt with it. It didn't want to risk entering the donkeys, draining them of what resources they had. That risked waking the boy, and the entity did not want to pursue that course. Too risky. The boy might want to return to the carpenter, and the entity knew that destiny, or something like it, had other ideas. The heat stifled much of the entity's thought processes. It struggled to remember why it was taking the boy back to where he had been born, why it had been interested in possessing him in the first place. The entity felt itself shrink as the boy's body grew thirstier with every passing hour. Its diminishing size brought about new challenges, such as keeping the boy in a dream state. Suddenly, the entity could feel the impulses of the boy's thoughts creeping back toward consciousness. It struggled to maintain the sleep that kept the boy at bay. The entity knew that its physical size was tied to its ability to manipulate, and the lack of fluids was dwindling its mass. Where am I was the first thought that surfaced. Too soon, the entity thought. It pushed and strained until the boy sank back into a shallow sleep. The desert? Am I with the carpenter? Are we heading to Jerusalem? No, it can't be, the entity thought. The boy is fighting me. The entity left the boy and rode the particles to the left flank of the donkeys marching ahead. It entered the ear canal and drained the beast of some nerve fluids, enough to bring back a semblance of mass. The donkey did not take kindly to the reduction in brain activity. Its legs wobbled. The entity dislodged itself and swam back to the boy. Where is he? Where is the carpenter? Why would he leave me out here? I want to follow him, the boy thought. Sleep, the entity forced. The boy obeyed. The entity glanced into the boy's slumbering thoughts. They were weak. The boy was not concentrating on much. He must have been too weak to understand his own condition. The interactions with the entity seemed distant, if not forgotten entirely. He may not remember me, the entity thought. This could be advantageous, but first, on to Pompeii, if we make it at all. The entity was nervous. The road ahead was long, and the boy's rapidly draining state foreshadowed a complete bodily shutdown. It would not be long before vultures would feast on the bodies of the donkeys and the boy, long before they reached the city. That would jeopardize the mission. What is my mission? The entity thought. Forget that now. You need to get food and fluid into the boy. The entity re-entered the left-flanked donkey and drained it of more brain matter. The donkey collapsed, causing the cart to halt. The entity returned to the boy and injected his brainstem with the matter it had drawn from the donkey. The boy's body was slightly enlivened. The entity then used his hands to rip open the donkey and use it for meat and sustenance. It was gruesome, even for the entity's tastes, and for a moment it was grateful that the boy was not conscious to experience it.